All right. Hello, citizens of the Nigelverse. It's Nigel here once again, and this is going to be another wrestling review. So, after the fallout of SummerSlam, it's time for the next event in our look in the Invasion storyline. And there is no forgiveness. In fact, act, the WWF superstars are unforgiven. And not the greatest segue, I suppose, but screw it. It's time for Unforgiven 2001. So, as always, I'm not professional wrestling reviewer, analyst, or anything like that. Just a man who enjoys a good time, and I had a pretty good time for the most part, I would say, with this event. So, without further ado, let's get right into it. Now, if you've seen these reviews of mine before, you kind of already know how this works. If you haven't, I'm gonna be talking about what I liked and disliked about each match, and we're gonna go match by match. Although Oh, I do have to acknowledge, well, a couple things I have to acknowledge. For starters, I can't believe I went the whole SummerSlam review without acknowledging Drowning Pool, Bodies, I should say, by Drowning Pool as the show's theme song on and I believe it was a theme of the Alliance, more specifically the ECW side of things for a while, but because of the September 11th attacks, that was ultimately not the case anymore, which I suppose makes sense. And because, it's kind of associated with this very because you're essentially in the wake of this very tragic event, so it makes sense. But but yeah, so I forgot to acknowledge it there. Might do something within the thumbnail though. But the other thing is that shout out to this pay-per-view poster for Unforgiven and the triple heads of Stone Cold Steve Austin looking absolutely psychotic. Like you have the two like shouting on the one side, and then Austin's face looking very psychotic in the center. If I had to guess, I imagine the other two heads are supposed to be kind of like the ears, like Austin talking in his own ears. Hers it just his first of all, it's cool. It's a cool, creepy looking poster, but also it shows kind of how unhinged Austin has become. He's kind of in his own head, kind of in his own ears. And I think this poster perfectly encapsulates that. It's a poster I want to see somebody do today, like an homage type thing. Like if WWE, I should say, ever brings back the Unforgiven brand, whether on the main roster or in NXT. Yeah, bring back have somebody do an homage to the Unforgiven 2001 poster. Or if you pay him enough, you might be able to get Austin himself. But yeah, it's a very cool but also very weird poster. But it's weird in all the good ways. But excuse me, getting into the event itself, we did have a match on Sunday Night Heat. We had Billy Gunn defeating Tommy Dreamer. Uh, so so the WF already starts off the night with a win over the Alliance. But next up, in a four-way elimination match for the tag team championships, the Dudley Boys, that being Bubba Ray and Devon, on defend, and the WF tag team championship against the Big Show and Spike Dudley, the Hurricane and Lance Storm, and the Hardy Boys, Matt and Jeff. But Nigel, you may ask, weren't the tag titles unified? By Undertaker and Kane defeating DDP and Canyon back at SummerSlam. Yeah, for a little bit, but then they were ununified again, and we'll learn a little bit more about that. But we have four teams battling for the tag team titles here, and Spike Dudley, he continues to team with random people. This time is the Big Show, and the Hurricane is here. I forgot the Hurricane gimmick actually started this early. In fact, the Hurricane was around even earlier than that. I forgot Gregory Helms was doing the Hurricane gimmick this early into his WWE slash WF career. But nevertheless, the Hurricane is here, and Jim Ross, which the commentary is once again Jim Ross and Paul Heyman. The commentary talk about how cool it would be if the Hurricane, or Jim Ross should say, talks about how cool it would be if the Hurricane became a superhero for the WF side of things. How it would be cool to have the Hurricane on the side of the WWF, and Paul Heyman takes umbrage to that, as saying that he's trying to steal the Hurricane away from the Alliance, and no, just alluding to it. As for this match itself, the match is pretty okay. Hey, nothing too super crazy. Within this match, and nothing. Excuse me, my goodness. Nothing super duper crazy happening within this match. Match. Ultimately, it comes down to the Dudleys and the Hardys. So they kind of got the two. Um, they got the two amalgamated. There it is. The two amalgamated teams. There, that being Storm and Hurricane and Big Show and Spike. Like as random as a team as Big Show and Spike is, Hurricane and Lance Storm somehow are kind of even more of a random team. But and trust me, I'm not against random teams. I know some people are, but I'm personally not. But it was just kind of weird. But it comes down to the Dudleys and the Hardys. Ultimately, the Dudleys pull some chicanery, and Bubba nails the Bubba bomb on Matt at behind the referee's back, which allows Devon, who is the legal man, to pick up the win over the Hardys. He's not the best outing for either the Hardys or the Dudleys, but it was still okay for the most part. Sorry, I accidentally smacked my mic there. But next up, Harry Saturn takes on Raven. Now, at this point, Raven and abducted Perry Saturn's love interest Moppy, who Perry Saturn left Harry Runnels for, and so they kidnapped Moppy. Raven fed Moppy to the wood chipper. But leading up to that, Perry was looking for Moppy, including putting Moppy on the back of the milk carton, and he's trying to find Moppy. But lo and behold, Moppy was killed at the hands of the wood chipper, and Perry Saturn is very upset about it. And in fact, I forgot to mention this during SummerSlam, but Perry Saturn, we actually see him looking for Moppy at SummerSlam while he's at WWF New York. But as for this match, again, nothing too crazy. They do, which props to the commentary team. They do bring up the history of uh of Perry Saturn and Raven being both being members of the Flock over in WCW, where Raven was the leader of the Flock and Perry was one of his members. In fact, I believe it was, and they do say it on commentary, it was ultimately Perry Saturn who kind of rebelled against the Flock and was one of the factors leading to its eventual demise. As was Saturn, but kind of cool that they brought up that it's kind of brought up their history here. The match, like I said, okay, just kind of on the short side. It's only about 5 minutes, just it's a little over 5 minutes. Unfortunately, Perry does get a pretty nasty cut around his eye, so that looks kind of gross. But Perry does ultimately get the win over Ray Haven. So Perry gets a measure of revenge on Raven, and in order to excuse me, man, I cannot talk. It's kind of late, but Perry does get a measure of revenge for Moppy on Raven and to an extent Terry Runnels. But next up for the Intercontinental Championship, Edge defends against his own brother Christian. That's right, Christian at this point has turned on Edge. Edge finally getting fed up of Edge getting all the success, all the attention, and Christian's jealousy has finally overtaken him, and he's snapped. He's turned on Edge. Edge saying Edge was jealous of him, and that Edge always got all the attention. This is back when they were still being billed as brothers. So Christian has essentially turned on his brother Edge, and is seeking to take his Intercontinental Championship from him. And both Edge and Christian have new theme music for the night, at least in terms of what we're seeing on this pay-per-view. Christian has his first solo theme. I would sing it, but I cannot sing, so I'm not going to. But Edge has Never Gonna Stop by Rob Zombie, which he had, excuse me, for a short amount of time before he got the Alter Bridge theme. He, and Christian had this theme for a short time as well before he got before he got his before he got Just Close Your Eyes by Waterproof Blonde, on which between the two versions of Just Close Your Eyes, the later version he would use when he returned to WWE, he was cool, but it's not topping the Waterproof Blonde version. That version is absolutely amazing and definitely fit Christian to a T. As for this match, after this match, pretty good back and forth. We see the story being told throughout the match as they compete. Ultimately, Christian and does pick up the win and does pick up the Intercontinental Championship over from his brother Edge after he distracts the referee and tries to goad Edge into nailing the one man concerto, and then Christian blowed him with the chair to pick up the win. So Christian becomes Intercontinental Champion. Christian also has a cut around his eye. I get used to hearing cut around the eye because it happens quite a bit on this night, surprisingly. But yeah. So Christian is now Intercontinental Champion, and Edge eventually would get it back, I believe. But Christian has, I guess, proven himself to his against his brother. But this was the split of Edge and Christian. They wouldn't team again for a while, and it's crazy to think that now in present day 2025, now that both men are not retired and are in AEW and everything, they're kind of back to teaming for the time being. They just faced Kip Sabian and Kill Switch at Forbidden Door. They're about to face FTR at All Out. So, crazy to go back and see. There was a time where they were not on the best of terms, and poor Grandma Edna. But next up for the WCW Tag Team Championship, the match I'm sure most of you have been waiting for, or The Undertaker and Kane, the Brothers of Destruction, Battle Chronic. So, Chronic showed up, attacked the Brothers of Destruction. They cost them the WWF Tag Team Championships, although the Brothers of Destruction are still the WCW Tag Team Champions. But Chronic is also now aligned with Steven Richards, mainly because Steven Richards is getting revenge on the Undertaker for being the one to end Right to Censor, which was forced to disband earlier in the year. So, Right to Censor at this point is no more, and Steven Richards and Steven Richards comes out with the Bryans, Adams, and Clark arc of Chronic, and would proceed to essentially steal their theme song later on in his career. Pretty much Steven Richards' theme song is essentially the Chronic theme, just as they changed it's changed some aspects of it. But nevertheless, as this match, here's what I'll say about this match. Is it a good match? No. Is it an abysmal match? I wouldn't say so. Is it even a bad match? Kinda. So this match infamously he made Undertaker and Kane just a tad bit upset at to the point where well, actually, I'll explain after the match. The match itself is kind of dull and kind of lifeless. As Adams and Clark don't really get a whole lot in. It's mostly Undertaker and Kane who don't really sell, which is kind of their thing. But eventually, Undertaker nails the choke slam on, I believe, Brian Clark, in order to retain. But yeah, kind of a bit of a rough watch. But this match resulted in them taking Chronic off TV because Undertaker and Kane were very upset how the match went. Resulted in them taking Chronic off TV to send them to developmental. But Chronic said, "Nope, we don't want to go to developmental." So W was like, "Okay, bye." Hey, and that was it. Chronic was let go from the WWF, which absolutely did kind of suck. That it led to them being released, but at the same time, if the match doesn't go that way or it doesn't go the way it's supposed to, and it's that bad and makes people upset, I don't know, but it is pretty crazy to think about how the match essentially led to Chronic being no more in the WWF. But next up for the Hardcore Championship, Rob Van Dam, who is the Hardcore Champion, defends against Chris Jericho. So Jericho, in a way, he kind of similar premise to Jericho versus Rhino in the aspect of RVD is hardcore champion, but he's also kind of defending Stephanie's honor. Stephanie has offered to help out RVD take out Jericho. And to essentially shut Jericho up for making fun of her so much. And RVD does kind of resist, saying, he's got this, but Stephanie shows up anyway. So, what can you do? But this match is very very fantastic. Like RVD definitely was not missing in 2001. He was absolutely straight hooping in terms of like pay-per-view matches. Is this match actually both men's like style, well, at least at the time, was definitely complemented each other. Like both were capable very much of the high flying, with some of the technical wizardry he peppered in by Jericho. One of the few times I can think of where RVD misses the guillotine leg drop on the barricade, but sure enough, Stephanie does. Stephanie does distract Jericho with a chair. Or I should say, while Jericho's holding the chair, Stephanie tugs on the chair and tries to prevent Jericho from hitting RVD, and he takes a full-on swing at her, and she ducks, which was like, oh my god, like holy crap! But sure enough, RVD he counters with the Van Daminator, and then the 5-star or Frog Splash in order to pick up the win. So, RVD still hardcore champion. Jericho has been defeated, at least for the time being, thanks to Stephanie McMahon. And yeah, just a very awesome, very fun, very, very physical match with some pretty cool fun spots in there. But next up, in a handicap match for the WCW Championship, The Rock defends against both Booker T and Shane McMahon. So, at SummerSlam, The Rock defeated Booker T to win the World Championship, and now to win the WCW World Championship, that is, and now the Alliance wants it back. So, Shane has put together this handicap match against The Rock, where it is Booker T and Shane attempting to take the title from The Rock. Pretty much by any means necessary, the title has to come back to the Alliance. So, that's why both Shane and Booker T are here. Or so whoever pins The Rock becomes the champion, which it obviously the match I'm about to describe wasn't a handicap match, but was a tag team match. But that's literally how. But the stipulation where anyone who is tagged in can pin and win the championship. That's literally how David Arquette won the World Championship, the WCW World Championship. That is. I don't know if WWF did that on purpose or if it just happened to be coincidence, but very interesting observation, nevertheless. This match was pretty alright as well. I don't think it tops their SummerSlam match, but Shane and Booker both get their stuff in, and The Rock does his thing as well. In terms of this match, Nick Patrick showing a lot of Nick Patrick, of course, is the referee for WCW, showing a lot of favoritism towards Shane McMahon and Booker T, to the point where he ignores blatant and disqualifications, such as when Shane nails The Rock with the world title. Well, I believe it was this match, or it might have been the SummerSlam match, where Shane accidentally nails Booker T with the world title Oh, and then just does it to Rock like a few moments later. That might have been SummerSlam, but sure enough, if Mike Chioda shows up and kind of gets into it with Nick Patrick, even pulls Shane out at one point as Nick Patrick's counting, and but Earl Hebner shows up to replace Nick Patrick after being taken out by Mike Chioda, and pretty much counts the win for The Rock, who nails the rock bottom on, I believe, Booker T. Yes, nails rock bottom on Booker T to retain the title. It wasn't right after the Spinaroonie this time, but it wasn't too long after. So The Rock, still the WCW World Champion, and pretty a good match, pretty solid match. Just preferred the SummerSlam one over it. It But next up in your semi-main event, and for the WCW United States Championship, Rhino battles Tajiri. Yeah, so Tajiri and Tori Wilson kind of have a Romeo and Juliet relationship going on. Tori's technically part of the alliance, but Tajiri's part of the is part of Team WWF. Regal at first advised against it for Tajiri because Rhino injured Tajiri's ribs. But sure enough, Tajiri wants to fight Rhino, so they're going to go out there and battle. Well, and this match is the shortest match. I wish these two got more time, but I think even in the time allotted, they still did relatively well. A cool moment where Rhino chases Tori in the ring, and Rhino's going for gore on Tori. But Tajiri stops him dead in his tracks with a buzzsaw. Oh, that moment was cool as hell. Oh, but ultimately Rhino does nail the gore on Tajiri in order to pick up the win and win the United States Championship. They kind of give it away, a similar to what happened with Jericho and, ironically enough, Rhino at SummerSlam. They kind of give away Rhino winning by saying that the United States Championship is one of the only titles Rhino hasn't held, and sure enough, Rhino wins it. Although it does lead to a funny line from Paul Heyman saying, I guess the only reason Rhino didn't win the United States Championship because he never challenged for it before, or so. So pretty funny by Paul Heyman. But last, certainly not least, in the main event, Kurt Angle once again, and this time in his hometown of Pittsburgh, or because that's where Unforgiven is, his battle Stone Cold Steve Austin for the WWF Championship. So, Kurt is still gunning for Austin after having lost by DQ back at SummerSlam, including the famous Milkomania segment, and Austin and taking umbrage to the alliance being humiliated, so he ties Kurt Angle's gold medals to a brick and launches it into the ocean. And because Kurt Angle didn't beg or cry for them, nope, Kurt just did the next best thing. He attacked Austin with a pipe, stole his truck, tied Austin up, blindfolded him, threatened to throw him into the river, unless he gave him a title match at Unforgiven. And Austin and essentially he begs and pleads and cries not to be thrown in, and gives in to his title match. And then Kurt proceeds to push Austin into a kiddie pool. Oh, he wasn't going to throw him in the river. He had a kiddie pool right there. That admittedly was pretty funny. So these two have been gunning back and forth. They play up even more. They kind of played it up in the SummerSlam match, but they play up even more how Austin's kind of cautious, kind of implying that Austin's afraid of Kurt Angle, afraid of facing Kurt Angle. Like I said, we kind of see it in their SummerSlam match, but they definitely play it up even more for this match, which I guess makes sense because it's the rematch. As for this match, I think unlike the WCW World Championship match, this one I think might top their one at SummerSlam. This one was still really fantastic. A great way to end off the show. You see the physicality from both men. You see how bad both men really want it. And a very good battle back and forth. Or even Austin nailing a pile driver on Angle. Angle even ripping the mat off the floor. Ultimately, as Austin's going for the stunner, which they do steal each other's finishers. Angle does a stunner. His looked kind of weird. Austin does an angle slam. His looked even weirder. It just looked like a backdrop, but they say it on commentary that it's an angle slam, so I guess that's what Austin was going for. But ultimately, Kurt Angle gets it's Austin in the ankle lock, and Austin submits, and Kurt Angle becomes the WWF champion. And so this finish actually genuinely surprised me a little bit, only because I had forgotten Angle. I had forgotten Austin lost it to Kurt Angle. I thought Austin held it continuously the whole time throughout the invasion, but no. Apparently, there was a time where Kurt Angle was WWF champion. It would be short-lived. Austin would get it back relatively soon after, and that would lead to a triple threat with Austin, Angle, and RVD at No Mercy, which we will look at next time. But yeah, so Angle is a new WWF champion. Excuse me. His family comes in to celebrate. The locker room, at least the WWF locker room, comes in to celebrate. Hey, so now both titles are in the WWF camp. At least both world titles. And yeah, definitely a hell of a match. As Austin submitting was pretty cool. The crowd definitely popped when Angle won, so really awesome to see there. But ladies and gentlemen, that's going to do it for this review. If I had to pick the strongest and weakest match of the night, the strongest definitely either the Hardcore Championship match or the WWF Championship match, similar to SummerSlam. Both were just really, really fantastic. And the weakest match, had you probably saw it coming, and Brothers of Destruction versus Chronic, unfortunately. But you kind of figured going in. But ladies and gentlemen, that's going to do it for this review. Thank you all so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed. If you did, please do me a favor: like, comment, subscribe, share with your friends, turn on post notifications so you know every time I upload a video, so you never miss an upload. And let me know in the comment section below your thoughts on the match, my review of the match. Do you like the event? I should say the pay-per-view event. It's time for me to go to bed. Did you like my review of Unforgiven? Did you like the Unforgiven show itself? Let me know. Thank you all so much. Thank you all so much for watching. It's time for me to go to bed, and I will see you guys later. Peace.